Suicide or message of death. June 1982, Italian banker Roberto Calvi is found hanging beneath London's Blackfriars Bridge. His pockets are filled with bricks. No clear witnesses. Today, on SilentProofTV, we reconstruct the case that placed banking, politics, and the P2 Masonic Lodge under the same spotlight. Roberto Calvi, president of Banco Ambrosiano, went from being the wizard of finance to a symbol of collapse. His bank grew through offshore structures, opaque loans, and a web of companies nearly impossible to trace. When the house of cards began to wobble, the numbers already hinted at a multi-million-dollar hole. Orbiting around him were heavy names, political connections, the Masonic Lodge propaganda due, or P2, and the eternal shadow of money that moves without leaving a trace. In the early 1980s, the Ambrosianos' accounts no longer matched. Subsidiaries in Latin America and Europe operated like black boxes. There was talk of undeclared letters of patronage and triangular operations. Calvi, pressured by regulators and his own inner circle, sought breathing room. But the financial system, when it loses confidence, is relentless. Backers vanish, and so do allies. Days before his death, Calvi left Italy under a false identity. He arrived in London seeking protection and an escape that never came. There were discreet meetings, tense phone calls, and conditional promises. On the early morning of June 17, 1982, his body was found hanging beneath Blackfriars Bridge, a place loaded with symbolism. Blackfriars, as the Dominicans were known, a detail that, for some, hints at rituals and warnings. The image is striking. Calvi hanging from scaffolding, his pockets filled with bricks and cash. There is no farewell note. The injuries do not entirely match a clean suicide. The initial investigation hesitates, the press ignites, and rumors take the lead. Was it a setup or a misunderstood suicide? Hypothesis 1. Silencing the banker. Calvi knew too much about money flows, recipients, and protective structures. If he spoke, or was about to, his death would serve as a message. Hypothesis 2. Financial settling of scores. The collapse of Ambrosiano left holes and key players scrambling to save themselves. A suicide on an iconic bridge shuts down questions or diverts them. Hypothesis 3. P2 and the symbols. For those who see patterns, the location and the bricks feel like a signature. The theory says it was no coincidence. It was a warning. Hypothesis 4. Suicide under extreme pressure. Isolated, hunted, and with no way out, Calvi may have chosen the desperate path. The strange details could be noise, not a script. The bricks, unusual in a suicide, consistent with ballast or staging, injuries and marks. Experts debated whether they were consistent with self-inflicted suspension. Escape route, false identities, shadowy contacts, meetings with intermediaries, document gaps, shell companies, letters of patronage, and opaque balance sheets. Underlying conclusion: the case becomes indecipherable due to excessive noise and conflicting interests. After Calvi's death, the Ambrosiano collapsed. Networks were investigated, names emerged, but criminal proceedings advanced slowly. Years later, trials and expert reports revived the idea of homicide, although without a convicted perpetrator. The legal and media fog never fully lifted. At SilentProofTV, we prioritize facts and discard myths. But this case is built in layers. Which theory convinces you the most, and why? Do you see a symbolic pattern or just a chain of mistakes? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you want us to keep uncovering stories where power, money, and secrecy collide, subscribe and hit the notification bell.